Okay, so before we start, I gotta post on the socials because that's what I always do.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Before we get to the show, let me ask, what was your first introduction to Echo in general? Like from comics or media or any of that jazz?
I
Oh,
think
the show. He was a character until the show. So
Uh,
I knew
well,
about her from the comics. I just can't remember which comic I first
well,
learned about her in.
Um, the
well,
first,
my, I, s-
you,
I still remember my first time being introduced to her, which was actually a controversial time because it was in the Avengers, right? Where everybody was
oh,
like, yeah, everybody was like wondering, okay, who is Ronin? He was a
Oh
mystery,
yeah,
and nobody knew it until Ronin unmasked, and it was Echo, and everybody's like, oh wait, what? Wait. Ronin was being drawn as the typical male superhero, 6 foot tall, uh, 2% body fat, muscular build. Like
there's something called
what's
padding
going on?
cryptid.
there
They need to explore that, like.
you go. All right. Thumbnail is uploaded. Okay, but we're gonna do a brief, spoiler
Mhm.
free. No spoilers, and we'll get that out of the way. And then, yeah, that's how we'll do it.
Yeah, it's
Spoilers away after we're done. Uh, but yeah, hello guys, it's us, the Fanatics plus guests.
Yay!
Yay. Introduce yourself, man.
all right. Well, hello everybody out there. My name is Aaron, aka King Krakoa. It is nice to meet everybody. Hope everybody's doing
Hmm.
well on this beautifully, lovely, nerdy day. Or I guess
Hmm.
I should say night.
Always.
Yay.
Yeah, and everybody else can introduce themselves in the usual order.
Okay, Cryptid Seeker 415 here. I'll save my intro for tomorrow's live stream. So yeah.
Ah,
Yeah. It is I, Jake Talonol, the one who hears the thing in the background. I don't know who it is, but I'm watching you. Okay. All right. Anyway. Just kidding. Uh,
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. Here to talk about some echoing that's going on in the back.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm Richter, also known as the Witch of Jotunheim, pronouns they, he. I do have banana milk, which is delicious. You guys should try it. And also, Cryptid is a bitch ass hater.
Ooh. Ooh. First curse of the night.
Technically not the first, it's just the first on recording.
On air.
Together,
Hmm.
we form the Fanatics, and we talk about reviews of shows, movies, comics, and more. Galore. Social medias are as follows.
Ah, scheisse. Anyway, subscribe to the YouTube channel, because if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, what the fuck are you doing? That made sense a couple lives ago when I was quoting the Cerebro podcast, but whatever.
Hmm.
Also follow us on Twitter. That's where most of the updates are. It's Comic Fanatic 69. It is all the socials are run by yours truly, besides the YouTube channel. If you want to follow the Instagram, which we also have, you can follow us at Comic Fanatic 2.0. Both me and Cryptid post on there sometimes. But
Hmm.
if you want to follow your boy personally, you can follow me on Twitter at Witch of Jotun with an E instead of a U. You get the gist why. If you want to follow me on Instagram and TikTok, which I'm a bit more active on TikTok, anyone who knows me knows that, it's gonna be witch _of_ Jotunheim. If you want to find Cryptid, you know the ritual. Cryptid, say your ritual.
Pledge allegiance to an eagle in 3 times, and I'll pop up.
Exactly. Jake, he is currently in Zimbabwe for some reason. What the hell are you doing in Zimbabwe?
That's for me to
And
know.
and
Hmm.
Aaron, if you want to say your socials, you could totally do that again.
Oh, of course. So you can find me at King Krakoa on TikTok, Twitter, and now Discord, and I'm on all the things now. Not on Instagram. On Instagram, you can find me at King of Thrones. The zero where the O in Thrones is supposed to be. But yeah,
Noted. I should have asked you about that earlier.
Hmm.
all good.
Next time.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and also this is driving me crazy, but there's something in the background, and I don't know if it's who it's for.
It's not from me. I actually unplugged my heater, so it's probably someone else.
Oh, okay.
I'm just drinking tea at the moment, so it can't be me.
Okay.
I, what is the
I,
sound? That was me.
oh, that was. Oh, okay, okay.
That
Yeah.
sound
Everybody
right
feel like
there
the
was me.
but yeah, okay. I guess we'll go in order of who anticipated this show the most. What did you think of Echo? Echo.
I actually really liked it. I binge watched the whole series. First on Saturday, because I actually took time out of my day to watch it after I got my $130 haircut. Don't worry about that. But after calling my bank over potential fraud stuff, don't worry about that. I was being stupid. Don't worry about it. I binged watched the whole series and I actually really liked it. Is it a perfect show? No, I wouldn't say that. Nothing's perfect. But did I like it? Yes. So, in conclusion, it's good. It's really good.
What about Witch's Guest King? What do you think about it?
I absolutely I loved it. Like you said, it's not like it's nowhere near it's not perfect, but there like the things that they did, the way they brought up certain topics, it was I thought it was very well done. Like even the alien aspect that they mixed into it, I thought that they mixed it in very well. I would like to see more about it, and more about their like tribe going on into like season two. If it be, if it
Mhm.
be the God's will, I pray by the old gods and the new. But.
Mhm.
Jake, what are your opinions?
Oh well, well, you see, I didn't really enjoy it.
You Wait, what was that? Can you repeat? I didn't. I didn't actually.
Repeat that, Jake. Repeat that.
I
I
couldn't
want it
hear
loud and
him.
clear.
Shut
Loud
the
and clear.
fuck up, cryptid.
I didn't enjoy it. I thought it was kind of boring.
I am I
Cryptid.
am not gonna be the one red flagging to decide. Yay!
Okay, audience. Cryptid, shut the fuck up so I can say this to the audience. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, for the audience, just to let you know, Cryptid only watched 2 episodes. It was the first and the last episode. He did not get any other previous context.
Yes,
Okay.
we should because it is responsible for us to do. We should tell our experiences with it. So like I said, I watched it over the course of like what was it like? I guess a week. I didn't really. It was just 2 days, but it was spread out through the week. Um, I was watching it with friends, and then I watched the last part of it by myself. I just couldn't get into it.
Mhm.
And that's
I will,
okay.
yeah, I will admit there were some details that I probably missed, which is why if I do miss those details, I feel like the fans of the show will be more than happy to call it out.
Mhm.
But I did just want to put that out there. When I say my review, there might have been things I honestly missed because I just wasn't really gravitating towards it. So just wanted to say that.
Gotcha.
Um,
But Jake, I have a
Okay.
quick question for you before we officially start.
Hey,
Would
wait.
you
What about me?
Wait, hold on. I need to ask
I-
Jake this one question before we get to you. Everyone knows what
Okay.
your opinion is already. We'll get back to it, I promise. So, would you rather watch this show again or watch a Taika Waititi movie, specifically Thor: Love and Thunder?
if you would
Whoa.
have said Secret Invasion, I would have said this show in a heartbeat. But
Oh no, this show is way better than Secret Invasion any day of the
Oh,
week.
all I'm.
I would have to disagree on that
Oh,
Oh,
oh
you're
wow.
the one guy. The one guy.
one. Like I was here for it. Like I was here for you on Echo. Like I was. I
So
rocked with the
yeah.
show, but there
You
were
see,
No,
this is
funny enough,
look.
Jake's opinion on Echo is my opinion on Secret Invasion.
yeah,
You see,
oh,
this is what makes a show like this unique. Is we all have diversity in opinions, and
right.
yes, we should be talking about this. We don't all want to be, for lack of a better term, in the echo chamber. We all want to bring our thoughts on this. You know, you know.
Anyways, getting back on topic,
We
Cryptid,
laugh.
what
I
was
love
your
it.
opinions on it?
Okay.
The 2 episodes.
Well, okay, audience. Like, I didn't want to watch this show. I basically got pressured by this group to watch it. At least the
You
first
didn't even
episode.
you only watched 1 episode of She-Hulk. I
I
also don't want
I
to hear no opinion.
I didn't even finish that first episode. I went in 5 minutes in, and I was like, okay, I know where this show is going. So like, yeah, I'm out. But going back to Echo though, so I gave the first episode a shot, and towards the end, I already had a sense as to where this show was going. So I'm like, okay, let me just skip to the end. So yeah, that's it. Did it prove me right at the end? More or less, but we'll discuss that later.
So,
Um,
I'm not sure how we should do this. Should we go with the people, the yays first, see what you guys like, or would you like to hear the nays first? What do you think?
mhm.
Which one? So we should ask our lovely guest. Let's see what he wants to do first.
Ooh,
Sure.
look at me getting decisions, guys. Ooh,
Yeah,
Lord,
guest of
God,
honor. You're the guest of honor.
I like this. Jeez, I feel like I should
Yeah.
have like a chalice in my hand or something. Um,
Yeah,
I think we should like I don't know. Let's alternate. Let's do it. We start with the bad and then we go into the good.
Okay.
Okay, that works with me.
okay.
I think that's a good way to start it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
So
gonna.
give us your opinions on why this show didn't do as well as you, in your opinion, didn't do as well as you wanted it to be. If you
Okay.
catch my drift.
I think Cryptid should go first because he only has experience with one episode.
Mhm.
I'm gonna cover the
Mhm.
whole series, so we're gonna let Cryptid go
Like,
first.
Okay.
I feel like if a person is on the negative side on the MCU right now, whether it's with regards of which characters the MCU wants to promote or the direction, this show is not really going to change your opinion. Which, especially if you're basing this off of her appearance in Hawkeye, which,
Mhm.
again, from my standpoint, she didn't really leave a lasting impression to warrant her getting a show. So the biggest challenge the show had was it justifying its existence, and especially on top of hearing all the stuff in the background, like budgets having to be cut and episodes having to be cut. Even the studios were like, "Yeah, this might be a sinking ship." Yeah, that's just my standpoints on that. I don't. Jake.
I think the show at first. When I first started the show, I will say this: I had a character arc with the show. When I first started the show, I was like, "Man, we really didn't need this show." Like after episode one, I was watching some friends, and we were just kind of bored going through it. I thought, "Man, we didn't need this show." And then, what was it? Episode 4 or episode 3 happened, and I was like, "Oh, I just don't like the way this story is told." But I absolutely think it could have worked. I think the strongest parts of it is with Kingpin and main character Maya, who is the alias of Echo.
Yeah, I like that. I like those scenes too, but we'll get to that later.
I think okay, so I know they wanted to do this thing because they did it with Miss Marvel, where they want to teach people about the Native American history, which is a huge aspect of the show. And Kamala Khan show, they want to teach you about Muslim culture and all that stuff.
Mostly Pakistani, but yes.
Pakistani, yeah.
Mhm.
I think that should have been saved. I think that could have been two things. I think the Maya's connection to that tribe could have been explored in a season 2, and I think the tribe itself could have been fleshed out in a special, like just a 1-hour MCU special, just about that tribe by itself.
So kind of like like they did with Werewolf by Night, but with Maya's thing. Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying? Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And
I can see that.
Yeah, and I think season 1, instead of focusing on Maya's relationship with the tribe, should have focused on Maya's relationship with the Kingpin and her breaking away from
Okay,
that. So
okay.
in season 2, we get Maya's relationship with her tribe, like her heritage, and that's why I think it was a lot better. I think that was,
I can see that.
Yeah. I think on its own, I think it's just the rest of the stuff in the show, it just doesn't work for me. The acting's good, I see it, but I just couldn't have fun with it. None of the characters really jived with me, and now this I do have a problem, and it's not really anybody's fault but my own. I can't really pay attention when the character is doing death signs. I think the problem,
ASL.
yeah, I think my problem with it is not that it's like inherently the show's fault, because it is a deaf character, right?
I have a question. Do you tend to do other stuff while you watch shows?
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, it's like one of those
Yeah.
things. Okay. Just curious.
Yeah,
Because that's how it is with a lot of people. They like to do other things while watching a show. I get it. Okay.
yeah. So
Like I like to eat. I like to eat while watching shows, movies.
Yeah, so I'm trying to learn her character. If I'm watching her like talk, well, you know what I mean. But like I'm
Yeah.
watching her talk, And I look away for like a couple seconds to check on something. I look back and I'm like completely lost with what's happening. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
that's a
Hmm.
entrance barrier I suffer getting into the
okay.
um
I'm not mad at that. That makes
yeah,
sense. I get
overall,
it.
yeah. Um, but at the end of the day, like I said, it seems to work for a lot of people. I know a lot of people were like really into the show, except there's the two of you. And right now, if that's the win Marvel needs right now, I think that's a win they can take. I guess so. You know, it is what it is. So, I'll
Yeah,
ask.
I can see your points because you did watch the whole show and you understand like everything that was happening. I understand that. I completely understand your points. They make sense in a grand scheme of things.
Whoever wants
Also,
to go next.
I just wanted to bring up something in the season finale. I saw, well, in both the first episode and also the season finale. I saw two actors I recognized, but I can't remember their names off the top of my head at the moment. But one is Maya's dad, and the other one is the announcer at the powwow. If you know what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Okay.
But no, I do. What I'm just gonna start off, and then I think we can like bounce off of each other. I guess you could say since we both liked it.
Right.
I do agree with Jake. I do really like the relationship between Kingpin and Maya. I
I
thought that was
absolutely love
like
that.
really
Hmm.
like deep and everything.
Hmm.
But I also do like her connection with her heritage and her family, though. I feel like that's a way to like bring her back into reality because
Yes.
she was basically raised by Kingpin. If you catch my drift.
Right.
So I feel like that was a good way to balance her out, like trying to figure out whether she wants to stay with on Kingpin's side or like go do her own thing with like the help of her family and all that other stuff. And also
Yeah.
like the fight choreography in this show
Oh
was
my
really
God.
good.
Let me tell you, I absolutely love one of the big things that I highlighted in when I was watching it was the fight scenes. I thought the fight scenes were very well done. The way they attribute, and not only that, they add her injury in with the actual fighting that she does, like with her handicap. And not only that, but the silent moments when we fade into the silence and
Oh
we just get
yeah,
the
those were
heartbeat.
so good.
Yes, it is. Those are the top tier moments that I loved because
It
we just
gives
hear
context to what Maya is thinking
yes
in a sense.
in that moment. Exactly. It's like we first get that moment when she like, especially when she like first like kills somebody and like we see that like her that moment like snapping her head and like it goes into the heartbeats get louder and then she just goes into just like fucking everybody up and it was so very well done. I loved it. And like the kingpin of it all, I did like their relationships and I do kind of agree with Jake that I do think that they should have highlighted more on the of the kingpin relationship.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have spotlighted more. I feel like it should have definitely been like a half and half thing. I feel like if they had more episodes, of course, like even if they just had
Yeah.
8 episodes, they would have had more time to flesh it out. But like
Yeah.
I agree with you though that I did like the tribe aspect of it all. I did like her trying getting to know her family because we do need those connector moments to humanize her as well as to get a sense of where she came from before this. One of the things I like that they did on that was in the first episode we kind of get that moment of like who she was to who she became in that little small little moment. We didn't have to do a whole little flashback episode. We kind of just got like where she was, how her mother died, how she got to where she was, and then we catch up to like what happened in Hawkeye, and then we go into who she is now. And
Yeah.
I kind of love I love that aspect of like that aspect of them going through that process, and we don't have to go through like a whole throwback of what happened with her.
Yeah, I do like how they just kind of like acknowledged what happened and
Right.
in Hawkeye and then they moved on.
And now
But
we're
I
here.
want to yeah, I kind of want to talk about her powers, quote unquote. I
Yeah.
found a tweet that I was talking about before we started recording
Hmm.
and I think we acknowledge that this is a change from the comics, you know?
Yes, definitely.
But I kind of like how they changed like recontextualized the Echo name for her, for Maya, where it's
Yeah.
like kind of like a power set that is generational in a
Hmm.
sense. And I feel like that kind of makes sense because, you know, echoing the powers through
Hmm.
generations, if you catch my
This
drift.
Right.
this was a power that should have been like in the Ultimate Universe sort of thing, like that
She
you will
wasn't,
find. No, if Echo had an ultimate universe counterpart,
Right.
and they wanted to reinvent her powers, this seemed like what they would do in the
Yeah.
ultimate universe. You know?
But
I
I
Um,
agree.
actually really liked it though. I think it was very
Mm,
interesting and going back into her heritage and everything like that.
I do need
just
them to
because
flesh it out more before I accept it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
before I
yeah, yeah.
fully
But I
like,
did
okay,
like it.
I'm feeling it.
I like the idea of it.
The idea, yeah, I'll say that. Yeah, exactly. Like,
Like we only got like a taste of it, you know?
right.
here's the problem I have with it. Like it's a part of the problem where I feel like this should have just been a season 2 plot.
Yeah.
I think the powers seem kind of random to me. Like maybe it's
yeah.
explained that I missed
No
it, but
facts. I
like
feel it. Hmm.
maybe it's like
No.
spoiler. And I don't know if we want to say this now. Wait for the spoiler section. But I was confused as to is it ever explained and I missed it why the powers are activating now as opposed to like earlier?
Yeah,
They do actually do they bring it up a little bit,
they
yeah.
they
Okay.
come when they. Yeah. Oh, are we gonna
Yeah,
say
we'll do
it? Do
that
you want me?
spoiler. We'll do that in spoiler section.
Okay. 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 Got
Okay.
you.
But yeah,
Mhm.
they do bring it up. I think you just
Hmm.
missed it a little bit. It's
Okay.
all good. Don't worry about it.
Okay. As far as the fight scenes are concerned, I think some of the I feel like this show was what's the word I'm looking for? Mismarketed. They made the show sound like it was like the most brutal thing you've ever seen. That's
Yeah.
not inherent.
Compared to other MCU products, it is more
Like,
brutal, but not compared to like Werewolf by Night or anything, but it
what
is pretty brutal.
Yeah.
what it is the reason they gave this like such a high mature rating is that they want to fall back if this series doesn't make views. You know?
So, but apparently this show did make views from my understanding. I think it's because they released it all at the same time, so people just watched it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It is watch it.
I think, but that said, while I was kind of like bummed out about the mismarketing of the violence. Other than the Daredevil fight, which I know a lot of people seem to like, I don't really
Yeah,
like that fight.
I don't really care for it, man.
I like
It's
that.
kind of like meh. But the one in episode what
Mm,
was it 3? There's a fight in episode 3 at a roller derby. Is that what
Yeah, roller
Hmm.
ring fight.
a ring fight? And it's like it was kind of fun. It got me looking back at the screen. I was like, oh okay.
It was so good.
I was getting into it.
My question is, who decided? Like, I don't care if it's in universe or out of universe. Who decided we're gonna play Dragula by Rob Zombie in this fight scene?
Yeah.
That was great. That
Like,
was lovely in the laser tag room.
But yeah, I did like that fight. The one in episode 5 is just kind of I think episode 5. I don't know if we agree on this, but I think episode 5 is like the worst of the episodes to me.
mhm.
I don't like it. I know what it was going for, and we can get more into it in spoilers how I think it could have worked better.
Can I be 100% real with you about
Yeah,
this? Out of all of the episodes, that last fight scene kind of felt a little bit, what's the word, cartoony, I guess you could say, especially with the guy with the bazooka. If you catch my drift.
yeah. Oh my
Well,
god!
okay. Yeah. The finale will definitely be a long conversation. So
I don't think it'll be that
Get
long,
there.
but yeah,
When we get there, we'll get there. But there's the bazooka scene is
that felt
was
very
so
cartoony.
no reason.
yeah.
But yeah, I guess I'm going with things that I'm trying. Like I don't want to like hate on this show because I don't hate it. I just think it's like just not for me. I think it's boring for me.
Mhm.
I just think that I don't know. There was like something that just wasn't hooking me. I think the through line should have been more about Kingpin and Maya. I really think that should have been the through line.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, I think episodes 1 through 6 should have started. Episode 1 should start as Maya as a girl, and then we go. Every episode is like a time jump, all the way up to like 5, where we get to the present day, and and she's finally confronting Kingpin. I think that's what it really should have been. And one of those episodes would have been the recap of Hawkeye. Say that happened, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that would have been the best way to go. I think with the family drama, personally, I just didn't care about them as much as I cared about the family in Miss Marvel.
Mhm.
Because I love that family in Kamala Khan.
Yeah.
They're so funny.
They're so
Yeah.
fun. They're fun to be around. And I think this family is just like their drama's a bit too dry. Also,
They have a lot of issues.
Like
They
they
have
have
a lot of
real issues. Like they have like I feel like they have like actual like real life issues that like you can see yourself in, especially with the grandmother.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just
And I
kind
kind
of
of like, and not getting too much into spoilers, but I do like that conversation between Maya and her grandmother. But I'll get back into that when we get to
Yeah.
spoilers.
yeah. I just think like the whole family stuff wasn't really working for me because it wasn't really. It was like Echo was off doing her own thing and just checking on them every now and then, like, oh hey, what's going on? You guys okay? And, all right, I'm good.
Hmm.
So it was really hard for me to care because it didn't seem like she was caring until near the end, which is kind of the
Right.
point. But it didn't make it. It wasn't easy for me to really connect with them because like our main character isn't connecting to them.
Hmm.
Apparently, I did like the relationship between Maya and Biscuit and
Biscuits,
Maya
I
and
knew it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love
biscuit.
biscuits. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm,
Um, and there was a bit we're gonna get to when we get back to episode 3 with the criminals.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and I thought that bit actually had me laughing. There was like a bit that like in the show. It was like one time where I genuinely laughed at the show. I thought it was like made a very hilarious gag. But like I said, I don't know. I just think the plot was just off. That's really I guess I
yeah.
could say. I think the plot
Fair
was just
enough.
not what it was supposed to be for this season.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, the
But
powers.
but even though it does have like its issues, I feel like it wouldn't really hinder your watching experience, in my personal opinion. Even if it isn't for you specifically, I feel like you can find something you like in it.
Yeah, like I said, there are a lot of people who enjoy this show. So if it depends on the type of TV you're into. I just
Yeah.
think I'm just not in the camp this time. Um, and I do think, even though I don't like the placement of the Native American stuff, the actual stuff in it is pretty interesting. Like I like this. There's a sports game. They show like an ancient sports game they were playing,
Oh,
and
that scene was
Hmm.
great.
yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
know. Like when I was watching, I was like, I don't know what this has to do with the plot, but I'm actually kind of into this. Like I don't know what this has to do with anything, but I
It
kind of want
it gives context for Maya's powers in a sense, but yeah, I
Right.
do like it as its own standalone thing too.
Yeah, and that's also where I kind of
Hmm.
formulated the idea that maybe this should have just been an hour special about this like tribe,
Yep.
stuff like that.
I that would have been a better choice. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you
Right.
that they had made like a little special of us getting to know who this tribe was and what they've done, and even like showed like little moments through time when they have like done something. Then we would have like got more connected with them and had more of a understanding of what that who they were and what that power was, instead of just getting like this random tribe that has powers and we don't really know what it is, but we just know that they have powers. That was my one like thing that I was like, I don't know. I was like, I feel like we should have gotten to know what the tribe is and what they do and what their powers are, so we can really like get it more.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
also
because as it stands, it just felt like random, like.
Yeah,
I
Mhm.
think also
for
would have
sure.
helped it as well, and Austin also came up with this idea as well. Is I think maybe tying it into Kahori, like this is this timeline's version of Kahori's tribe.
Yes,
And
that
from
would be
what for
smart.
those who don't know, if you watch Marvel's What If, they introduced a new character, just part of the MCU exclusive, named Kahori. And in a What If, she got a bunch of powers. But the pitch for this is that what if Kahori's tribe in the main timeline just got like different powers, basically, because
Mm.
they didn't get the cosmic cube like in that show.
Well, no, keep in mind, like Kahori's timeline was made possible because Odin died in his battle against what's his name,
Surtur.
Surtur. Yeah,
No,
so
Yeah.
she would exist in the MCU. She just wouldn't have the cosmic cube power. So I'm
hmm
suggesting that, like,
Right.
in
yeah,
this
yep,
one, she would have these powers instead.
hmm
So
Should we
Hmm.
start getting into spoilers since we've already been doing tidbits here and there?
that's true.
yeah.
Wrapping up. We're half and half here, but I'd say I don't know. Try the first episode, see if you like it. That's my recommendation.
It's
But
only five
Yeah.
episodes, so if you do decide you want to watch the whole thing, it's only 5 episodes.
yeah,
And by
If
the
you
way,
want,
there is a post-credit scene just
if
in the last episode.
yeah.
if you had a preconceived notion with Echo going into the series, I don't know if this show itself is going.
Drop them.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going
Yeah.
to change your opinion. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was my thing. I went into it with no preconceptions of what it was and like an idea of what this story could be about. I just knew it was about Echo,
Mhm.
and I just went into it like kind of blind. And I think that's why I didn't come into it with high
Yeah,
expectations.
same.
I came into it
Mhm.
with the same expectations as I come into with the X-Men movie. I know it's not going to be the X-Men that I know. I know it's not going to be the story that I think it is that they're going to tell, but I'm just going to accept this for what it is. And every time I do it, I end up appreciating that movie a lot more than I would have
Unless it,
if
Yeah.
unless it's that New
I
Mutants
got my
movie,
hopes up.
unless it was that New Mutants movie, and that movie was
Don't
awful.
talk about me though. Don't talk about me though, y'all. I
Gotcha.
just like, and I'm an avid person where like my friend has scolded me a few times because I'm one of those people like if it's a superhero thing, just give it to me. I don't care how it is. I'll just be like, oh, it's amazing. And like more recent years, I've started to be like, okay, you got to have some kind of standard about yourself.
Yeah,
And but that was one of those first movies that I was like, yeah, I can't,
I definitely
I can't
felt
sit
that
here.
when it came to Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh,
That was 2 hours too long.
okay, let's try to stay on topic, guys. you know.
Well, we're giving
Right, right.
context.
But at the
Okay.
end of the day,
Yeah.
do you have to watch Echo? No, just watch it because you want to try it. That's you don't really need to watch it for the bigger MCU. Everything
Mm,
you could just pick up another thing.
Well, apparently it's supposed to be like the start of the new MCU phase.
Well,
So
no, I'm saying
I
like
no.
guess it is
saying like
somewhat important.
the post credit scene, which we can get into in a little bit. It's something you could just like if you watch the next show over, they'll probably like it doesn't really matter. Right? It's just like
Yeah.
I
Right.
think it, and no, it'll
Okay.
definitely it'll probably not really go into Daredevil that much, but it might for something in the future.
Hmm.
I
but
think the reason they did that is because of the fight that they use is like a throwaway to what happens in the comics and her becoming his like sidekick, if you will, like in a sort of sense.
Also, fun fact:
In the
that
comics.
fight happens during the blip. Just letting you know that now.
cool.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
yeah, all right, Echo. Now everything from here is spoilers, 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 spoilers. So like,
See ya. If you haven't
Y'all.
watched it, get the hell out.
yeah, and if you have,
Okay.
it, are you going to come back and then like,
We'll
comment?
be
Okay.
here.
Okay. Y'all. Okay. You all want to talk about the finale now?
Uh,
I feel like we should start from the beginning where everything
Okay.
starts.
Okay. All right.
I was so I should also say I have one more problem with
Okay.
this.
Hmm.
I am not a fan of origin stories. I think they're
Fair enough. No, that's not a problem. I don't think that's a problem with the show per se, but I do
No,
understand.
yeah.
I understand because I feel like a lot of people tend to get sick of origin stories, and
Yeah.
this is basic. Like the first episode specifically is kind of like an origin for Echo as a character.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was a character I already didn't care about, and I already saw her already be the thing I needed her to be. I didn't. For me, I just wanted to skip through it, but like I was watching it with friends who didn't want to, so I was just kind of like, whatever, we'll just go through it. So I wasn't really paying attention that well to that first part. I was just like, I'll pay attention when she's done with all this. I didn't think
Mhm.
it would go on for so long, and I felt bad. So
Fair enough.
Mhm.
But I do like how Maya's sister cousin doesn't like she says sister, so I'm gonna say sister for right now. So basically, how Maya's sister explains like the history of her tribe, I guess you could say.
Yeah, Bonnie.
Yeah, and how basically that will tie into stuff that happens later in the show, in a sense.
Hmm.
You know, it all comes in full circle.
can we talk about how Daredevil randomly shows up, beats up some people, and just like leaves? Like
He does. He
Just
does.
leave.
He was,
Never to be heard again from
he
in
was
the rest of the
he was there
series.
just to put seats in the table. I don't think the show could afford Charlie Cox for a whole episode. You know.
yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
I don't even think it was.
so
Like if they wasted that on him. If they were going to do that, they should have like at least had like a moment. They should have put that fight at the end or something maybe, and give us like a, oh, you should turn your life of crime into like a good,
You
like
see,
into a becoming a hero or
you see,
something.
they
Then end
you
it.
see they tried that with She-Hulk, but everybody took that as like them trying to milk Daredevil, like because he was always teased in She-Hulk a
Hmm.
lot, right? But he didn't appear
Right.
until like what the second to last episode or something.
Hmm.
But
He got
yeah.
laid. He got laid.
I just
Mhm.
like that, like
I,
Daredevil has.
I was just appreciating that, like, okay, they just brought him in, they didn't drag him out. Okay, over and done with. There you go.
He had the most amazing walk of shame in the episode where he got laid.
It was, and
I loved it so much. It was so
I was
funny.
here for it. I was here for every single moment. Of it.
I think Daredevil's thing now is that he just kind of skips some people's shows and skips out. He's like whoop 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 whoop, and he just like leaves.
It was great.
Yeah, I didn't care for his fight. I thought the fight was like the choreography itself was good, but like the actual like physical connection was just kind of like terrible. Like you could see them waiting for the hits to come in.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It was very slow and very challenging, and I don't know why people like that fight so much because it doesn't really look that good to me.
Out of all the fights in this show, out of all the fights in this show, that one was probably the weakest, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up so much because apparently everybody and their grandmother became a fighting choreography expert online ever since that scene came out, you know, between the fight between Echo and Daredevil.
That's actually how you do the kick, where you like, you do the whole. Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, okay, not to say I'm more of an expert than them, but I have 13 years of martial arts experience, and I'll at least say there were hiccups in this fight. You know,
I've seen people do martial arts before. I know a little bit. I've seen enough Marvel things.
Yeah, well, there's a difference.
I've seen enough superhero movies to know.
There's a difference between seeing something and actually trying it. Believe me.
But keep in mind, I've seen almost every single like Marvel movie and everything. Howard the Duck traumatized me as a child, but don't worry about it. And like out of all the fight scenes, there are like some that are around the same level, but I feel this one was kind of weak compared to.
It was. I mean, like if you want some of the best fights in Marvel TV, look no further than Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Those were good.
I still think between John Walker, Bucky, and Sam was like one of the best fights they've seen.
It was great, especially in Phase 4.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I remember when I was watching it with my friends, I thought they ripped John Walker's hand off. I was like, oh my god!
I wish that would have been funny. And then I could be like, suck it, cryptid, but I don't get shit in this house.
Yeah, I thought
right.
So seeing fights like these, just like I was like, but no, like it's not like this was the fight quality for the rest of the series. There were better fights than this. It's just like I don't like the Daredevil.
But no, definitely that the episode where they fight in the roller rink was my personal favorite.
Highlight of the show?
It was a highlight of the show, yes.
Well, I meant like in fight terms. That's what I mean, like highlight.
Yeah. It was really good.
Yeah. But yeah, as far as episode 1 goes, I take it you guys liked it, so I guess you guys go into why you liked it, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I liked it just because like I like the way that they paced it into like us getting to know who she was and then going into it. The one thing the big question I have through the whole thing is who is Bonnie and Biscuit's parents? Cuz I'm like it must be their grandmother's other children, but the way the grandmother talks about Maya's mom, it's like she's the only child that she's ever had.
Yeah.
And I'm like
keep in mind, people have cousins that aren't even related to you by blood. Keep in mind.
You know what? Yeah.
Yeah, because keep in mind, my mom married into a Hispanic family. I have none of those cousins are related to me by blood.
Right, and likewise, I have cousins who are not related to me by blood. But like this one, the way they make it seem and the way like Bonnie and her grow up together, it seems like they are like actual like true blood cousins. And I'm like, but I don't know
Did we see Biscuit before we get to meet him in the show?
We surely did not. I don't like. You mean like as a kid when we do the flashback?
Yeah. No. Okay.
I was like, where is the other? I was like, where did this boy come from? Because who is Biscuit?
Also, like, I don't think they ever explain why Kingpin killed Maya's father.
Was it in Hawkeye? Did they explain it in Hawkeye? I don't remember.
No.
No, he said no because he set him up. He so that he would take the fall for Kingpin.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he got him.
Yeah, but it would always explain like what, like, so just to take the fall for what purpose? Like, what
yeah, right.
In the show, Kingpin had Ronan go and kill what's called
the tracksuit mafia.
The Tracksuit Mafia and in particular Maya's dad. That's
So,
what I
so,
recall.
so here's my theory, and if the show was more focused on Kingpin and Maya, I think this could have been fleshed out more. I think
Say, I think I know what you're gonna
he,
say.
I think he did it because he wanted Maya to be an enforcer, and he needed
Oh,
to be.
yeah.
That's my
Mm.
head
Hmm.
canon. I just wish the show would like do a little bit to confirm that. I think that's all it really needs to
No,
do.
that works. That works a lot.
Yeah.
To
See,
get her
mine.
completely on his side, I get it.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, my thought was like he did this so like she would completely be his, and that she would have nobody else to fall back on besides him.
Yeah.
And like, cause especially with the way he talks about her being, like a daughter to him, and I'm like, yeah, you can tell like he wanted her to
You know
himself,
what's
like,
funny
'cause-
about that statement that he made? It's like, correct me if I'm wrong, but he learned a whole different language in the Daredevil series, but it didn't even bother
thank
learning
you.
ASL for Maya.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I was gonna bring up as well, because I was like, and you know what, JT, I'm also one of those people who watch. I'm one of those people who watch something else while they're do something while they're watching something.
Mhm.
I sat there and I watched it, and I rewatched it again today, and I didn't see what she said. But my one of the big things I wrote was he didn't he kind of used her. He loved her, but didn't really even take the time to learn sign
Yeah.
language.
Oh,
Yeah.
Austin
And
Mm.
is here, guys. Austin is
even in the last
here.
episode,
Hmm.
hey,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey.
I had a emergency, so, and I wasn't near my phone. My bad.
No, no
Oh,
worries.
okay.
Before we move on, Austin, what did you think of Echo?
I gave it a middle of the road. I thought the last two episodes better than the first three. The only thing, there's only one thing I actually didn't like. Like I say, I didn't like.
Okay, we're talking about spoilers right now, so we're
Well,
currently talking about Kingpin and the fact that he didn't learn ASL from Maya.
yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
I'm proud of him. Stand by your shit. Okay,
Yeah.
It's like
don't
Um,
conform. Don't don't conform. Stand by your shit.
not no
yeah.
conform.
I think yeah, like I said, I think this never explained. I just think the reason was that's my head canon. That's the only thing that makes sense to me is that he just wanted Maya close to
Hmm.
her, close to him, and the only way to do that is to get
Yeah,
rid of the dead. So I thought that was it. I just wish, and you could believe that based on Kingpin's like obsession with Maya.
it is
yeah.
kind of concerning, yes.
Um,
It is like, but you can tell that like that's from like the years of him losing people who he loved and whatever. Especially from the Daredevil series. Wasn't it Daredevil when he had the therapist wife or
Oh, you mean
girlfriend?
Vanessa?
yeah.
Yeah, she's
That's it exactly.
if that's
Hmm.
canon,
Like
he
it,
still can't see her without an issue going on. So he literally is alone in New York trying to do all this.
right. And you can tell like that's the reason like he clings on to Maya in the way that he does because he doesn't want to lose anybody. But one of the things that I like going back to like he didn't learn ASL for her, but like instead he got someone else to make something so that she can understand him and not understand her. It kind of like strengthens that metaphor like you want her to yourself because it benefits you, but you're not thinking about what benefits her in the long run. And like that conversation that she had of him saying you used me and you made me a monster, and he was like we're both monsters, and I'm like yeah, but you fed into that. Like going back to the episode where she catches him beating up the ice cream man for not for like making
Hmm.
fun of her or
That was
whatever.
well deserved.
Like oh no, facts. It was definitely well deserved. I was like, yeah, you better. I was like, you better take care of your daughter.
Yeah, that guy was a piece of shit.
He was absolutely a piece of shit, and I was like, okay, this makes sense. But like in that moment, that was a you could tell that was like a pivotal moment in their relationship where like it was a deciding moment where you could either choose to walk her from this and be like, okay, don't be like me, be better than me, but you decided to revel in it and grab her hand and be like, okay, this is my world. Like, and like it wasn't one of those like, of course he tried to not let her see it, but once he did see it, that was a defining moment where like, what are you going to do now? Are you going to like, have her bask in this, violence like you do, or are you going to be better than she is? And like he proves that like I know that I needed you. It wasn't like you needed me more than I needed you, kind of thing.
I wish we got a scene of like Maya throughout, like, because she existed, right? Like she was under there.
Yeah,
Yep.
I wish we got
exactly.
a couple scenes of like what she was doing during the events of like the Netflix era.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just wish we got like some scenes where like
Don't
Kingpin's
say
like,
yes, Brittany. You didn't watch the show.
No. That's a point that Jake. I actually wanted to bring that up because, like, Kingpin knew Maya throughout the most of her life since she was a child, right? Okay, so then how come he didn't bring her in throughout any of the events that Kingpin was
Because she was
going
with
through,
her
like when he
father.
was there?
If you go by
Yeah.
what they said in Nick
Yeah.
And
she was away with her
right,
father. She wasn't in New York at the time.
and she wasn't going to come and
And this
save her uncle, like how who was close to
I
her.
mean,
right. I think this is before she became like an
No,
enforcer
yeah,
though,
he
because
wasn't his
the
enforcer until the
Daredevil
dad died,
events,
and the dad didn't die until after the
right?
Netflix show, like 5 years later.
Exactly. The Daredevil events happened before the blip and everything, before he became Hawkeye became Ronin. So like she was still like, being like a latchkey kid, I guess, stealing cars and shit.
yeah.
Okay.
I guess
Like how we met
I'm
her.
I
gonna
think
do.
like a good theme in this show. Sorry, Jake, but I just wanted to bring it up before I forgot about it. I think like a good like theme in this show is trauma and how a person
Yeah.
handles it. Like a mix of like
Hmm.
family trauma and all this other stuff. I think that's like
Hurt people or hurt people and all that good
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
I was thinking like
Oh
so. I
yeah,
was thinking like so.
wait, you reminded me. Okay, Jake.
I was gonna say like just so the audience knows, I didn't watch Daredevil, and I don't know when I'm going to. So stop asking.
He's an
Fell.
a hole.
A scene, something that whatever I
The
appreciate is like
best thing from the
lowest
Netflix.
yeah during
I mean,
Kingpin's.
I liked
Honestly,
Jessica
yeah.
Jones. That's just me personally.
I did love
Well,
Jessica
hang on.
Jones
I
though.
was
No, I'm
gonna
not
say
gonna
that
hold
like
you. I
during
love
I would
that.
like to see scenes like during Kingpin's lowest moments that maybe Maya visited him or like maybe Maya checked him or maybe saw like
Hmm.
him just slowly become like get into this darker and darker place. I think that would have
Yes.
helped as well. Just because at the very end too, like the resolution she comes to, like this is a man who's hurting. Like let me help him. I think that also would have added
Yeah.
scene as well. That's
Yeah,
kind of why I wish we saw more of that. But yeah.
yeah. Okay, so in that scene where she heals him, I just want to say they recasted the hammer he used to kill his dad. I feel like we need to talk about that.
Wait, do you guys want to jump into the finale now, or what?
Oh, I wasn't here, so I didn't know how much I actually talked about. But they changed the
I
hammer,
guess
and I
we have
felt some type of way.
the only episode I want to talk about that I actually almost enjoyed completely was episode 3, and then we can do the finale.
Okay, yeah, that works.
But I want to talk about Daredevil the scene real quick, please. Okay, it was
Okay.
Go
terrible.
ahead. Yeah.
So first of all, his intro, he comes in, he says, "I've been watching these people all night. You stayed there and let these people die before you jumped in this fight, bro.
He was late. He had to put
He
his
let
pants on.
everybody in that room die, but except for Maya before he jumped in that fight to help people. They
Bro,
knocked everyone out,
his pants were
and then he didn't even knock
It was
her
bad,
out.
guys.
Y'all
Bro,
noticed he knocked her out. He looked at her on the ground and disappeared, bro. This is the worst Daredevil I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
bro, he was.
And
Listen,
then his fight scene was terrible.
yeah, no, we
Thank
talked.
you. Yeah.
Awesome, I can defend him. Listen. Okay, so while they were being killed, he was like off, like in the corner, taking a piss on like the top of a roof, and then he was like, "Oh wait, hang on a minute." And he had to
He must have been
like.
fighting Punisher or something because that man waited like a good 30 minutes before he got in that fight and let everyone die. And then
Yeah.
I don't know if it was because the way they were doing the camera, they were just jumping around for no reason in some scenes. Daredevil punched her in the face, she grabs a pistol, and then with no movement from her, he ends up getting slammed into the table. And I was like, bro, what's happening? Did God come in? Because she didn't do anything. And it's like 5 moves like that in that fight. Like, I don't know what they were thinking. I think there was a practice fight they put in the movie by accident. I mean, show by accident. That scene was terrible.
Single shot fight scenes aren't to Echo's strong suits. I'll say that from analyzing that fight scene with her and the devil.
I did want to say this episode 3. It's episode 3. Yeah, the roller skate scene is episode 3. I keep forgetting. It had one of my favorite moments on the show. There's this guy who's who has my and he wants to call his people in. But throughout the episode, you can see he's actually scared of Maya like getting free, and I like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When Maya sends the text message that she's free, and he's like, oh, I gotta go, I gotta
Right.
tie my shoe or something. I was like, oh my god, that's hilarious. He tries to leave, and the guy's like, and the other guy's like, hey, where are you going? You trying to leave? Did something go wrong? Like that whole bit. I really appreciated it. And of course, like the roller skate scene itself, as we gushed over in the spoiler-free section, I like it. I don't think it's like the masterclass in fighting, but it's the best fight scene in the show. I do like the song that's playing. I should have said this in my spoilers-free section, but I forgot to mention. I don't like how they use the deaf perspective in this show. I'm not saying that it doesn't need to be here. I just don't like how they use it, if that makes sense. I think it's too awkwardly used. I don't know if that's just me.
Sparingly, it could have worked, but they may have used it one too many times. I've noticed.
Yeah, it's just awkwardly placed. There's scenes where like it's perfectly fine. Like I like the scene where Maya's remembering stuff throughout the series, but she remembers it with no audio. I thought that was like great. Like I like stuff like that. But I hate how in the middle of fight scenes will just be going on like normally, and then all of a sudden the audio will cut off. I'm just like, oh, it just kind of zaps me out of it. So I think they should like figure out how to do that better. Yeah. Did anyone have anything else they want to talk about episode 3 that they like?
I don't know. I like the little silent moments of them like of us getting the perspective of her like fighting from Maya's point of view of like just all she hears is her heartbeat, especially when they like single out just her heartbeat, and that's really all she could ever hear. And them going into those like going into certain moments, like there are certain moments where it could have been done better, but I definitely like that perspective, and hopefully in season 2 they'll get better at those as they go along, though.
Yeah, I don't like. I'm not saying that I don't want it to. I like that it's there. I just don't like how it's used all the time. So I don't want it gone. I just want it like better. That's really all it is. But yeah, did you have anything before we go on to the finale?
I liked the episode. I
love
love the use of color when it came to that fight scene. Like some parts were dark, some parts had like the normal like roller rink lighting, and then also like when they're in the laser tag scene, I thought that was a really cool fight part of it, if you catch my drift. I don't know. I'm just like, I guess I just like a lot of the visuals in some of the fight scenes, especially when they get a bit more creative with it, like in the roller rink one. Like I just thought it was really, really cool. Like especially when they're like destroying the games that they have in there, like the pinball machine and the claw machine. I just thought that was pretty cool. The gun whips.
I was here for the gun whip. I was all here for the gun whips.
That was so awesome. I forgot about the gun whips. But it was like so cool. Like when she was like whipping people with them. Oh my god. I was like, she could be a Belmont.
I like she enjoys hurting people. Like I think it's the only thing I like about Echo, that she seems to enjoy it. Like she has fun doing it. That's so fun. Like you see when she's like beating people up, she starts smiling and stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty funny. But yeah, I think I will say this. Episode 5. Before we get started, I just want to say, listen, like, I think the suit they give fine, but not for what she is.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it worked for that one instance. I don't see her wearing that on a normal basis.
Only one instance.
Oh, speaking of outfits, I noticed. I wanted to bring this up before we fully get into the finale. I'm sorry, but you know how like Echo has that little like sun design on her main outfit, like in the comics.
Yeah.
I like how they incorporated that in some of her outfits, like in her jacket and in that one shirt she wore, and in that outfit that her grandmother made. Oh my god, I loved that.
I did like that, but yeah, I was like that. I was like, for some reason, as I was watching, I was like, that seems too thick. I was like, I was like,
it did seem very bulky.
Yeah.
Right, like it seemed very bulky. That's it. And I was like, for the celebration she was at, that would have worked. Like if she was just going to the celebration cool, celebrate your heritage, sis. But then it was just like, oh, you about to fight in that. I was like, can
Mm.
you do all the things that you need to do?
Yeah.
Like, like it just I don't know. I for some reason I was hoping that they were going to do the iconic moment of just like giving us the black suit with the sunrise on the
With
side
the
of it.
handprint on
Right.
her face.
I,
I
That's what
feel
they
like I
needed.
wish
But
they
no,
you knew the
actually did
handprint,
that.
the
there was
handprint.
no way
I was
they were
like,
going
this
to
is not gonna come
justify
off
the
well.
handprint.
No, because you
They,
can.
right,
Because you can. Remember when in that scene in Hawkeye, but also we showed
right.
it here when her dad put his hand on her face and like the blood on
Oh
there. You could justify that.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
But you
Um,
know
no,
what?
that's good for a
I'll be
scene, but she's not going to pre-put blood prints on her face before a
no,
fight.
like
Is what I'm saying.
do like the white paint like how she normally does in the
I think,
comics.
Yeah,
well, like in a
Mm-hmm.
moment of remembrance for her father, she's like, "This is my
yeah.
costume."
Mm-hmm.
Bro, there's a lot of better moments to remember than him dying in the middle of your face.
Yeah,
That's
let's
all I'm
be
saying.
She remembers through trauma. Okay, that's trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I
Hmm.
think, yeah, like I said, that's suit. Like she's dressed like she's going to the Battle of Endgame, bro. Like this is like you're on the
I
streets. Like,
I I thought the reveal was gonna be it's a two part and the black suit was gonna be under it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Like she was gonna wear that to the like festival, and then like she would have pulled up and like snatched that off, and then had the black on.
Yeah, I thought the reveal was gonna be Kingpin fights her and he rips it off on the reveal like the real
Hmm.
suit.
Hmm.
so I'm trying to think of the way to approach. I think I'm gonna take the risk here. Cryptid, let it out. Talk about the finale.
Oh boy. I gotta say. Okay, first off, I gotta say, they avoided a catastrophe because there's no way anybody wanted to
See,
see Echo kick Kingpin's ass, and they were smart enough to avoid that fight. You know?
I told you, Jake Cribbit. He
Yeah.
thought it was an L, and I was like, "That's not really L."
I think it's enough.
What?
Well, no,
No,
I'll
no,
say
no,
this.
no, no, no. Wait, no. I want to clarify because, like, the way these shows usually structured. Okay, the biggest problem with this show, right, is the fact that they tried having Kingpin as the villain of this show, and the way these shows normally go is we're going to have that final boss fight between the main character and the villain, and everybody was already had a negative reaction when Kate Bishop already defeated Kingpin. So to add him losing to Echo on top of all of that, that was going to be a disservice to both Kingpin and Echo because you're going to have a lot of people angry at Echo for doing that, and at the same time, you're going to have a lot of people disappointed that this is how the MCU is treating Kingpin, a fan favorite villain. So it was a good
I'm
move that they cut that scene entirely. Even though it was a mental victory on Echo's part, we still had to see Kingpin crying like a baby.
I'm
Yeah.
iffy, and here's the thing. Like I don't think
Well, to be fair, where you see him cry like a baby, what? That's Daredevil in a
By,
nutshell.
by
True.
Echo.
I'm
True.
iffy on it, and
So,
I think the only thing that would have fixed it for me is it had like a moment that I would be like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like earlier, like I think like I don't know if it's an apt example. I'm kind of saying this on like the tip of my tongue, like the you know, but like I think like when you think of like Spider-Man: Homecoming. At the end of the day, like I guess Spider-Man arrests him, but you still think about that scene in the car. You know what I mean? Like you still think about the scene where like he has the guns. You know what I mean? He's like
Yeah.
that's. I think like Kingpin needed that moment. I think just the reason that he is scary,
Hmm.
just what he needs to be. I think that's kind of what I needed before we could justify how they ended. Because I walk away and I'm like, as someone who didn't see Daredevil, I walk away from this. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that's Kingpin. You know.
Mhm.
it
So
starts to sound like a you problem at this point, bro. You keep using that excuse. I'm just saying.
That one,
Because it is a you problem.
in that one
I mean,
instance.
like,
Wait, who are we talking about? Jake or me? I'm confused.
Jake,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I'm just saying, like, for there are a lot of people like me who, unlike me, they'll go back and watch Daredevil. There are a lot of people who didn't see it when it came out, so this might be their first introduction to a full-on Kingpin.
Mhm.
So, like, to me, this would do nothing for those people, I think. Or maybe they just see that the actor's really good and want to see him in other stuff, like a Jonathan Major situation.
Mhm.
His career.
Ooh.
And so,
okay.
yeah, I just think that having an intense moment with him, a la like Vulture and Homecoming, would have probably been good for his character. That's just me. I don't know about the rest
Do
I
of
you
you.
think they
guys,
tried to do that with the ice cream man scene. To be honest,
Yeah,
do
that's
you
like
guys think?
because it kind of comes out the blue in the early in the episode. They stick in your mind for the rest of it.
yeah.
Do you guys think they should have had a different villain for this series? Someone that could have that final boss fight with Echo.
I was thinking.
I
Yeah.
think you. No, I think Kingpin was needed. I think you still had to bring in his main henchman though.
I think you.
Yeah.
I think you could have done Tombstone as the physical villain.
Mm,
Like
Ooh.
the
You, bro,
I
look, you
see
got to
that as a
stop with
downgrade.
Tombstone. She has no connection to him, and Kingpin's the person who she wants to
Honestly,
fight.
they didn't have to because they all they had to do was, especially in the beginning, because it looked like she was the way they were ramping up the first part of the show was that she was going to take over his like organization, and then that would have been a perfect moment for them to bring like Tombstone or one of the other big guys from New
Hammerhead
York
Tombstone.
and like just have her go against them.
Yeah,
That would have been
Did
a smart move
did
for them to do,
that's what I'm.
and then brought the little like
Yeah,
No, no.
kingpin
The
into it at the
problem,
end of
y'all.
that season.
The problem is that Marvel don't have the rights to just use Tombstone. Y'all just keep throwing these names out there. They can't use
Well,
them.
that's what I'm saying. They don't have to use him because, of course, he's taken by like he's a Spider-Man property. But
yeah.
like they could have, there's easily other people that they could have made up, or there's other like other hero or villains that they could have used to like whatever. Even if it was like what Diamondback or
Give
I,
something like that.
give
Like
them give them
I think it's more a
Hammerhead.
timing problem because if you go by Hawkeye, Kingpin's supposed to be like the last guy right now. So
Hmm.
other people haven't rose up yet. So you're probably right. Someone else could have tried to rise up during this point.
Hmm.
yeah, that's
But if you
exactly.
go by the setup by Hawkeye, there's literally no one at the moment. And that's why at the end you saw what Kingpin's doing next. It should give rise to a
He's
new
gonna
person in
pull a
Daredevil
Luke
instead.
Cage. He's gonna pull a Luke Cage and run
Right.
for
Right,
mayor.
yeah. My
No.
point
right.
is
He's not gonna pull. No, he's pulling a Kingpin. He was already mayor. He was
my
mayor for
Hmm.
Luke
Oh
Cage.
shit, he did it first. Yeah,
Hmm.
you're right. You're right. He did do it
my
first.
point is
Hmm.
more so that I don't think Kingpin should have been like the direct antagonist. Just should have been
Yeah.
like
Yeah, no,
Well,
Yeah.
I
I
think
Yeah,
to
he
agree.
should
the,
have
I
been a
think
I
side
want to
no.
make my
character
piece.
villain.
I want to make my piece
yeah.
about this real quick.
Shoot,
So,
shoot.
okay, I want to make my piece about this. I feel they shouldn't have revealed Kingpin was like actually alive until the end,
Yes.
until like in a post
Yeah.
credit scene. But they should have
Hmm.
like done like the Kingpin Maya relationship stuff like in flashbacks.
Yes.
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 I feel like that would have
That's how
worked
they should have
20
done it.
times better in my personal opinion.
Hmm.
But I'm not mad at what they did, but I feel like it was kind of rushed if you catch my drift.
Yeah.
So like if they
Like
would have like
Kingpin.
alluded to him still being alive throughout the
Yes.
series, I feel like that would have like
Yes.
worked and then they reveal him in the actual end of this in the series. Yes.
Right. And
I
then it could
think
show like the
the
second season could have been that. My bad. Go ahead.
no. Finish your thought.
Oh, my bad. I'm saying the what I was saying is like I think that could have been a smart way to do it. Of him like the second season could have been him coming back and then him trying to get everything that he lost from Maya while she's also dealing with another crime boss or something like that. That would have been a good way for us to like get into a better villain for her and signify her as a standalone instead of just, and like you said, go into the whole like flashbacks of her and who Kingpin was and her learning like maybe learning the trade of from Kingpin
Hmm.
and then go into like the second season of what this was.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I think the villain should have been Bullseye. And the reason I keep saying that
Ooh.
because this is what I was telling Cryptid. I mean, I was telling Jake. Me and him were watching. If Bullseye coming back, especially for the Daredevil and the other stuff, this kind of would a time where his build up would have happened. If you
Yep.
seen it in the Daredevil season 3,
Yep.
so having him also chip away at Kingpin's, like having two people chip away at Kingpin's empire, only to have
Yeah.
a one winner one way or another. Because Bullseye can recover from losing. Kingpin could not.
Mhm.
Yes.
If you want to keep saying Kingpin the big bad for the street level,
Yeah.
Bullseye can
Right.
recover.
Right.
And it
No.
also would have been a great fight scene for this street level person if
Mhm.
Ooh.
especially if
Yes.
you want
Right.
to have the Daredevil fight scene in episode 1 and say you held your own against. I feel like it would
Mhm.
have been a nice step up for a character leading into whatever her role is in Daredevil. If you want her to be
Mhm.
a really posable threat,
Mhm.
Mhm.
because you're not gonna like people if you know Daredevil, bro. No one's gonna want her to just show up and start healing this man's dad drama or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um,
mid fight, and they'd be like, "Oh, I guess you win." Like,
I don't like how Echo just turns into like a good person, but personally, I just like that he was like kind of a dick. Like, I just like that she was like sort of like you wouldn't want on your side. I would say, but like you would trust. I don't know. That's weird. I know in the
Mhm.
comics, she's a hero from my understanding, but just like I don't know.
well, they want her to be the anti-hero of this street level stuff, though. So
Wasn't she
Hmm.
not?
Yeah, that's how she was originally made to be, and but then like they kind of like nerfed her to being just like a hero.
Mhm.
Which, yeah, that does tend to like not really go into the complexity. That's what I meant to say. Complexity of her
Hmm.
character if they just make her a full
Yeah,
on hero.
I
Mhm.
think
right. Because she started off as a
that's
henchman.
why I think the family stuff gets in the way of that because like
Mhm.
when you're doing a story about family, it's really kind of hard for you to like unless if you're doing like extreme stuff, it's like kind of hard
Yeah.
for you to see this person as like a villain, or like any evil stuff she's doing. I mean, I would like if she just formed like a gang, like her own gang or something, with on a gang
Yeah.
war or something. Like
She
her
tried to form. She tried to form a gang with her family. That's
I
what I got
guess
out of it.
uh, the only gang member in the family, legit, is like the guy who,
The uncle.
yeah, the uncle,
Hmm.
yeah. And he wasn't really like into it that much. He was just like, I'm just here
He
for my,
wanted to get out,
yeah,
but Kingpin threatened to
Right.
kill all of his family, so he couldn't.
Hmm.
yeah,
yeah.
I need
Wait,
this
was
man to
that
stop crying, bro. You're a villain. You're working for a villain. Yes.
the?
Okay.
I
He's gonna kill my family. Yeah. You chose to work for supervillain.
listen. I didn't think he turned on me. Okay, I don't.
Mhm.
Right.
um, I think, yeah, I think all that was up. We alluded to this earlier. The rocket launcher scene was stupid.
Ugh.
That was just a
Dude, that was
Yeah,
so.
that
The
was
Oh,
bazooka scene was so stupid. It
yeah.
felt
like
more. That was the most cartoony thing out of this entire series.
more cartoony than biscuits, right?
Yes.
Yes.
At least Biscuit made
you know.
sense.
Biscuits was a good cartoony, and we
I'm
loved
not
We
even
love
Biscuits.
mad
Biscuit in
that
this
he
I'm
like.
household.
I'm
I'm not
okay
even
with
mad that like he
biscuits.
paused.
Hmm.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was about to say, about Biscuit. I'm okay with him being here, as a comedy relief character, because, like, one thing, when it comes to Marvel humor, it can be overjarring at times, but there's just only one character there who's only about the quips and the funniness.
Hmm.
Okay, while everybody else is, being serious, that's just enough. Good amounts.
Hmm.
Yeah, and
Finish up, Austin.
oh, sorry, come on, I didn't
I'm
mean
like,
to
I'll
interrupt.
be fine with the bazooka scene if it wasn't. So he sees the guy already aiming him. So I understand him being a little bit shocked. You know what I mean? But this dude after that, after we said, "Oh," and then lifts the bazooka in the air and still pointing at him and shooting. I was like, bro, he could at least got shot and then shot close to the man. This man aimed the bazooka all the way in the air before he got shot. Like, what's happening?
Right.
Uh,
That was it,
I
man.
also just don't, I also just don't like the sticks. Like they don't feel real. Like I remember watching. Like I know what Kingpin's doing. He's like, let me kill everybody in your family so you only have me. But it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like it just felt
um,
kind of like, they're fine. They're not gonna kill off this guy.
um,
Like,
the moment where the final confrontation broke tension for me was actually when she started splitting her powers with the other women in her family, and particularly the grandmother. I'm like,
I'm
the heck was
all the
that?
chalk now. She said.
Huh?
I'm all the chalk now.
Like,
She made
what is it with this power only specifically to the women of her family? I'm just
Why
curious. Give
not?
that count.
Because
Why
the
not the
No,
first,
no, no.
boys?
You're
the
no.
first, because
Go ahead, wait.
the first ancestor was the one who basically saved everyone from the cave. So it kind of made sense why it would be through the women of the family.
also,
Not the men. The men don't always need shit. They have the patriarchy, bitch.
also
Right.
cryptid from
He
my
never
of
said
Native
that.
American. Also, kind of my understanding of Native American culture, it is a thing in some tribes that women had more like power than men. In some
Hmm.
tribes, that
Okay.
wash over and over time.
Yeah.
So it does kind of line up historically that there might be a chance like in one culture women have more power,
Hmm.
like this superpower, and just men did.
Uh,
Okay, that's a
as
hierarchy for you,
also
and there
as
you
Jake
go.
said, I think they probably should have just did Kahori, like a MCU version of Kahori,
Mm.
and tied her to that.
Yeah.
I think that
Honestly,
would have
that's what
worked a
I was
lot better for a
thinking.
lot of fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm right there with you. I would have if they had said that she was a part of that same tribe, just from an
Ooh.
alternate universe, whatever, that would have
Mm.
worked. I think that would have
You
been a good way for us to be connected to her, connected to not only the what if, but also give us an idea of who her tribe was, and then we could have like that way we would have already had some background of who that was. So then we gave a fuck when she actually got the powers. Like I feel like that would have been a smart idea.
Yeah. Um.
yeah, you also could have. Nah, never mind. I'm gonna keep this thought to myself.
But
Yeah.
yeah, as far as the quote unquote agenda in this show, I don't really think it's like prevalent. Echo's appropriately as strong as she needs to be. They already showed she's no match
Hmm.
for Daredevil, if that's your concern. And as
Mhm.
far as the final
In
battle,
her defense, in that specific scene, she was still kind of new to this whole thing, so that
right?
makes a bit more
Yeah.
sense. But honestly, we don't know
Yeah.
what she's like now compared to Daredevil.
Mm.
But I just wanted to give that context before we move on. Okay.
Yeah, she didn't physically overpower Kingpin. She's just a badass who beats up everybody else. And if she had a villain like Austin said,
Yeah.
Bullseye, or we added any other street level villain, I'm sure she could beat them too. So
Mhm.
Right.
they're not like giving her all the power when undeservedly. So it's
You can't beat
Mhm.
Turk Barrett,
Yeah.
baby. But you
so
don't even know who that is. Yeah, White
if
Daredevil.
Like.
and I'm saying that if that's a concern for people, she's not a Mary Sue as it's said these days. Um,
Yeah.
But you know who is kind of a Mary Sue in the MCU?
Oh,
Captain Carter.
oh.
no,
Let's not do
different
that. Okay, so
topic.
no, no,
Different
nope, nope,
topic.
nope.
Yeah.
um,
Big eye
So
roll. You mean the what if I Carter
Uh, uh,
Captain Carter series?
different topic. Different
uh,
topic. Let's stay on
so
topic,
so
guys.
there's a few topics I do want to bring up before we end all this stuff. I want to know. They throughout two shows now they never actually explained why Kingpin killed her father.
oh, we talked about we talked about it.
Hmm.
Yeah, we
I
We
we
mean,
were
have to
out of
make up. We have to make
I
up.
was kind of
We have
heated when we got
to.
in that episode about that.
Yeah, we had to make up an explanation of ourselves. You
yeah,
know.
when you came in, we were making it up as we went. So
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
But
our
I was
reasoning,
like, bro, come on now, y'all just making stuff up. Y'all, I
the
need something.
reason I came up with was that I suspected that Kingpin wanted Echo to himself, so he just killed the dad. Which based off my newer understanding of the character, that also might be in line because it seemed like this was around the time when Kingpin was going through his like, oh, I'm alone phase. So like maybe he was like, I just
Hmm.
want this girl to myself. I don't know. And so that's kind of what I think happened. I think the show could have done more to just said that, and that would have been fine. But
Hmm.
I
uh,
don't think the show knew why, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I don't know. I'm not sure either. But that's just the thought I have. Was there anything else, Austin?
No, I thought I had another question, but I'll let it slide.
Can can we talk about, since I want to like kind of go into Maya and her family? Can we talk about that conversation between Maya and her grandmother when Maya came back?
Yes.
I feel like that's kind of important to talk about, especially since the theme of trauma is really
Yeah.
prevalent in this show.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I'm confused. Does Maya always know that her family had powers? Like, or what?
Well, in the episode with the train, when she went on that
No.
train to give a message to Kingpin, she didn't know about it. It just sort of happened.
Right.
No,
She knew about the story of of her family, like apparently because we remember that like when they were little and did a flashback, they talk she's telling the story to Bonnie about her about their
And
tribe.
also, the
And
mother of Maya's mother did also have healing powers, so maybe a
healing,
little bit,
yeah,
but she didn't think that she had them.
Hmm.
right. Or she
yeah.
didn't like, or maybe she was like one of those like she knew of it, she just didn't believe it until it happened to her.
Why does she have it now?
That kind of needs clarification because he
Um,
kind of looks like an idiot. Because really, she
they
do.
spec
Because her mom had him, and then she get confused for like two whole episodes about her power. It's like you know the stories
they
apparently. What
specified
are you confused about?
um see they say that they only get those They only get those powers, and the tribe only comes to them when when they're needed the most.
Oh.
And that's how they explain like why she's never had it to this point. And it's
So,
just
so,
like
so the
she's
mom
like
was just chilling with her daughter, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I guess I need my power to heal this bird, huh? That's a word that I have to."
right, like right. To me, it feel like the mom is the only one who has like who just had access to the powers whenever she wanted them, whereas the grandma and everyone just getting powers for the first time.
Yeah. Well, the mom. Well, the mom had her own story. You find out she went through like drugs and all
Yeah,
Yeah.
mom of Echo.
the mother of
Right.
Echo. um, but yeah, I just camping powers like they sound cool on paper. I couldn't wrap my head around them thoroughly. Sorry.
Yeah, as a person who also lost their mom early on in their life, it was I was more Echo side when it came to stuff. Like, regardless of how you feel, if you really love their mom, it's weird. I'm fine with you not hating dad, but for you to cast me out and then feel the type of way when I come back, nah, that's my stuff. I
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah,
explain.
Oh.
That's crazy to me.
Mm,
Or you talking about the
yeah.
grandma with the
Yeah,
grandma?
yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
I was
Like that.
heated
The
about that.
way I'm not even gonna hold you. I was too, because the way that she was explaining, it, she was like, "You, I couldn't look at you because you reminded me too much of him." Bitch, that's not my fault. Like, I just was sitting there, just like, are you seriously about to try to blame me for me not seeing you, and then you don't want to see me at all? And then treat me like I'm the villain when I come back in town. Get the fuck out of here!
For
Mhm.
real.
I couldn't get with the grandma, like, and of course everybody has the no nonsense grandma or a family member who just is stuck in their ways and who just doesn't see change as like a goal or something to aspire to. But like with the grandma, I was just like, you were sitting there pushing all that stuff on her, not and like then you get mad at her for becoming the thing that she had no choice in becoming because you weren't there to help her or be like, oh no, you shouldn't be like your father because you let him go with her. So like you can't be
For
upset that she
real.
became the way she
But the
became.
grandpa,
Like,
on the other hand,
yeah.
goaded.
Mhm.
Right. I was so glad. I was like, yeah, you should have left her ass, her dirty, dusty ass.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was like, you are doing way better now. You just need to stay over here in your little pawn shop, electric repair shop, or whatever the fuck, and just be fine. You don't need this old bitch.
oh shit.
um,
Uh,
But I love that. I love that he put like extra care when he was making her, like rebuilding her
yeah,
leg. Like, yeah, the
I did
temporary
like
one,
that.
it was only temporary. However, the new one, the fixed one, that was
Oh
so
yeah.
fucking cool.
Yeah. And I like, and even like the little things, like you could tell, like she favors her grandfather more, even from the moment in episode 3 or 4 when the roller rating scene when she has to like make a makeshift BB gun or whatever, and like to break the to turn off the light to bust the light out. I was like, you could tell like she favors her grandfather, and I was like, I like those little moments where we get to see like, oh yeah, she's learned some things from her grandpa.
um, yeah, I think. Well, so now we're reaching our final. I guess we could stretch this to 10. You just end it sooner. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, I think we can talk about the post-credit scene, which I thought, like, as a post-credit scene itself, interesting, but the dialogue for it was kind of throwing me off. It was kind of,
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, a
It felt like I
fighter.
wrote that. That
yeah.
man said we need a bare knuckle brawler, bro. We need a bare knuckle
Right.
brawler from outside the establishment, bro. Like, yes,
Mm.
yes.
Preferably a kingpin of crime, perhaps. Maybe,
Oh.
Perhaps, maybe.
maybe his name
A
should have
Sam,
been
a Wilson type person.
a Wilson.
Mm.
Right, this type.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, I need someone to hold this shit in the iron
We're looking
fist.
for a
You know what I mean?
Wilson type to take office.
Yeah, so someone who will stick it to the superheroes if they need to. I was like, come on now. But yeah, so Kingpin from there. I'm assuming Daredevil's gonna fail to
Dude,
stop
Oh
him.
yeah.
quite question, guys. Okay,
Well,
if
yeah.
we if we're doing the mayor's angle for Kingpin, do you think we're going to have to see Spider-Man eventually collide with Kingpin at that point? Would you say?
Yeah,
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah, what
like
them doing Drew Goddard
for
as the
real.
director for Spider-Man 4, Kingpin being the main I don't think he's gonna be the main threat, but being the main adversary, it looks like he's gonna be a big part of that.
Yes.
I hope so because like I feel like there should like out of everybody like Kingpin is notable for Daredevil and Spider-Man. I feel like they should at least clash once or at least mention him.
They're probably
That's
gonna.
I
true.
wonder
They
how
all
it
they,
Daredevil gonna tie into it. Go ahead,
hey,
Critter.
you know how they in the comics how they decided that Kingpin should be more of a Daredevil villain than a Spider-Man villain?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's because Daredevil's like, look, Spider-Man, you have all the cool villains. Let me just have one. Let me have the
Let me just have
Kingpin.
this guy.
I
Like,
know.
do you really need this guy, this big guy? Like, you just give him to me. Like,
Also,
I
from
know.
Kingpin's perspective, like Spider-Man's too flashy. Like the whole city looks at Spider-Man, but Daredevil just like the street dude. You know what I mean? Like
right?
Mhm.
He is out here literally in the
yeah. So
trenches. Like,
I would rather if I was Kingpin, I'd rather fight Daredevil than Spider-Man because at least if we
Mhm.
get the
oh
altercation,
yeah.
no one has.
I don't know. Like Daredevil be on some Batman time sometimes, and like he just like ruthlessly beats the shit out of some people, and I'm just like he just stole a purse. Like I feel like he just needs something to eat.
Mhm.
Hey,
Like
hey,
I
hey,
feel like
hey,
if you could
hey,
just
hey.
punch
To
him
be
and knock him
fair,
out, he'll
though,
be fine.
that guy who stole that purse worked for Kingpin. He deserves the beating. That's why I win.
But
He
But
had to learn the lesson. Yeah.
based on what we know, for the Daredevil show, they still want to do Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil, which also has
Mm.
Spider-Man in it.
Yep.
So I do think the
Hmm.
build-up is just for the movie team up of Daredevil and Spider-Man after they
Yeah,
were show up in the
for
last
sure.
film.
I wonder if they're gonna take cues from the. I don't know if you guys remember because I never got to see this, but I want to. The Spider-Man the animated series and one of the animated movies, they did a trailer for it, and it was like a Spider-Man and Daredevil, the dynamic duo. Like they did like the Batman versus the Batman and Superman type
You
versus.
Right,
talk
a
about the
Brave and Bold
'90s,
moment.
Yeah,
the '90s. You talk about the '90s animated series.
they had like they
Right.
hyped that up
Mhm.
back in a
Well,
But
trailer.
honestly,
to be
when you
fair,
think,
they were doing that because they were going to do a Daredevil cartoon, and then they cut it off.
Mhm.
Oh,
hmm
Yeah.
but when you think about it, like Daredevil and Spider-Man do seem like a good little buddy cop moment for them.
Mhm.
Like it kind of gives me the energy of like Green Lantern and the
Yeah.
Flash the moment. Like,
Both
it's kind of those vibes.
both Peter and Matt know what it's like being Marvel's punching bags in their personal
Right,
lives. You know.
right.
yeah, one part an
Both of them
alien
have lost their
symbiote in a
parents to
truck,
some
the other
tragic
goes to church
accident
every Sunday.
that
You know,
wasn't
the
really an
perfect match.
accident.
You
Mhm.
Right,
know.
right.
They both got their powers from radiation. They both have red in their
Literally.
costumes. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Like, yeah, both of them have some kind of like a spider sense, if you will, technically.
Yeah.
But the
Speaking
only
of
thing,
that, though, I do think Tombstone will probably be in the movie. Me and Jake talked
Ooh.
about this earlier.
I
He
would
was
love
like,
that actually.
he brought up that you can't have like that. You have Kingpin lose here, and you gonna have to try this Kingpin
Hmm.
fight Spider Man. Like, no, this Kingpin is not gonna physically fight Spider Man. If Drew Goddard is directing, this
Right.
Kingpin is gonna be more in the shadows, trying to manipulate stuff, and he rises to power as mayor. So we're gonna
Hmm.
need a physical
Right.
threat and the mental threat, which is Kingpin.
Hmm.
As
And
strong as
like Jake said, like y'all said earlier, Tombstone probably the best option. He's
yeah.
more Spider-Man related. He can physically fight Spider-Man depending on
Yeah.
which version you're doing.
Hmm.
But Daredevil could win because Daredevil has beat him before if you try hard enough.
They could give us like a deep cut moment and give us like a Diamondback moment.
Hmm
Hmm.
If we
Like a
were
Diamondback,
lucky, if we were lucky, my friend, if we were
right?
lucky.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just think like we've been seeing, and the seeds are there because in No Way Home we saw Peter meet Matt Murdock for the first time. Now I don't know what Matt Murdock
Hmm.
remembers about that case, but I guess he remembers he was at Spider-Man's house, but he doesn't remember who Spider-Man was. But you know,
He
technically
will
Spider-Man.
remember getting Spider-Man off legally, but not remember that he's a child. So he probably is
Yeah.
gonna show up doing some real Batman stuff, and then like, oh my god, it's a kid.
Right.
But yeah, so Peter knows Matt. He knows he can go to him. Like I need a lawyer to solve this case. You can go to.
Okay.
Well, Peter knows bad, but he doesn't know bad as like Daredevil. He doesn't even call a break.
No, but
Like
he
let's
knows like
calm
I
it
need
down.
a good lawyer. I know a guy. Maybe Ned Lee's got
You,
framed
you,
for a crime he didn't
I was
commit.
about to say,
Good lawyer.
oh, Kingpin comes out. I'm suing Spider-Man. Like the suit itself.
But yeah. All right,
All
then, yeah.
right.
Echo. It was a show. So
Well,
Not it was a show.
I liked it. It was a show that was pretty good, even though it
It
has
was
flaws.
good.
mm,
I'll
It had its
give
flaws.
Ah,
I
it
what
feel
the
like
good
hell,
overall.
Austin?
I want it's mid.
season two will
audience,
be the redemption.
audience, if you're going on an MCU diet right now, this should be on your diet. So,
you'll be losing weight still.
Yeah.
yeah. Mm.
Right. This isn't your regular, degular,
If you like
Marvel
Daredevil, do not
thing.
watch the
Like
show. If
it's
you
not.
like Daredevil, don't watch the show. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. He's only in it for like not even 5 minutes.
Mhm.
Yeah. And knowing Daredevil fans,
It's
they'll
not in a
hate the
good
show
scene, bro. Don't
just
get your fix.
because you lied to them like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, just go
And
rewatch the
like,
Netflix series,
That's why.
and then
Wait,
you'd
wait.
be fine.
damn, now I'm honestly all this Daredevil talk has got me thinking about rewatching it. I'm not even gonna hold you.
It's the best thing from the Netflix
That's what I was telling
series.
Jake.
Yeah.
That's what I was telling Jake,
Out
bro.
of
They
all the
gotta
shows.
stop using Daredevil for marketing, bro. They have to stop using Daredevil for
They
marketing.
kind of have to. I remember
Every
when
Echo
those
trailer
leaked.
was
I
ending.
remember when those leaked set pictures of Daredevil in this show dropped. People lost their shit, and then when the
Yeah,
show
you
came
got
out,
to.
people were like, "Oh,
No, no,
Especially for how
no.
pivotal she is. He is to her in the comics.
I get it, bro. But if he's not actually in the show, let it. Like you gotta stop, bro. That's all you do. You keep teasing Daredevil's a big part. He's in every trailer and stuff, and he gets a 5 minute scene that isn't even that good. People are gonna hate the show, and you'll be like, "Well, it's your fault. You came for Daredevil. You teased Daredevil at the
Mhm.
show."
All I know is if they do all this teasing for Daredevil for all the street level stuff, and then the Daredevil show is terrible, I'm out.
Oh
If it,
no.
if it, you
oh,
know,
I'm
you know,
excited to
if
see
it,
that."
you shouldn't be. That would really be the end of like a lot of Marvel stuff if Daredevil turns out bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
Mhm.
talking about people
Yeah.
leaving
Like
the MCU? That's a whole fan base.
what? Because that started a lot of the all these Marvel shows are cute, but like that's kind of what really started the Marvel shows.
This
Like
is their
let's
arrow,
be
bro.
real. Like right, I'm about to say that was their arrow. You took the words right out of my mouth. I was about to say that's literally their Arrowverse, and like without him, nobody would be able to walk. Like he walks so y'all can run, like type shit. And like I just want to
Yeah,
hear
for
it.
the movies, it was Blade. For the shows, it was Daredevil.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Also, put respect on
Like
Robert Downey Jr.'s name. Iron Man. Also.
Shut the fuck up.
but
also, yeah, put some respect on his
and
name. Yeah, he did also.
But
all
you're
right,
not wrong. You
oh,
just didn't have to say it.
oh yeah, alrighty, guys, we're entering an hour and a half now. Do you guys want to give your final thoughts on the show?
Uh, I didn't care for the show, but that doesn't mean you won't. Try an episode. See how you.
I'm gonna repeat the same thing as me and some other homies of mine on the Alpha Flight episode. This needed to be longer.
You have friends?
Yes.
Yeah, I have friends. You have friends, Austin? You got friends?
I got Jake. I got Jake.
I go,
Do you get bitches,
I go,
Austin? That's what I thought.
I have one.
Mike.
Uh huh.
Oh, well,
Listen,
my closing,
you know,
my
Austin
close.
is he's an arrogant man who always thinks he's right. Yeah, just like-
Well,
There you go.
my closing statements are: stick to your MCU diet, audience, if you have one.
Oh, also, one more thing. Remove Sabra from Captain America 4
Let's
Marvel. I'm
let's
watching you.
let's let
Oh,
everybody
who?
give their final thoughts.
Nothing,
Wait,
nothing, nothing. You guys
wait,
aren't gonna listen to me anyway. So, anyways, continue.
no.
Oh, I guess.
I liked it. I liked Echo. I think there's, of course, more that could have been there if they gave them more episodes. But I am hopeful that season two, if it'd be the new gods and the old gods will that it'll be better. I think they'll hopefully they do more.
I
Mm,
uh
okay.
I gave the worst episode was probably a 3 out of 5. The best episode was 4 out of 5. She says she's gonna be in Daredevil. I wonder what her role in this war and Kingpin's rise is gonna be. because that's really the balancing act at this point.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So it's like I'm interested to see where her character go. At the very least, I just hope it's better than since we don't have to deal with her tribe as much. I feel like she'll get more attention that she needs. So I think she'll do a little bit better going forward. But I guess we'll have to get through 18 episodes of Daredevil when we see a season 2 of this show to see where she ends up.
Yep.
I'm okay with 18
Yeah,
episodes.
that was our review, guys. Tomorrow, unless if you're rewatching this later, then fuck you. But tomorrow is our podcast episode, so go check that out.
Yeah, stay tuned for tomorrow's episode. It is our normal style of episode, so stay tuned for that.
Very
You will
quickly, very, very quickly, insert our socials, please.
subscribe to the YouTube channel because I said so. The Twitter is Comic Fanatic 69. That's where we post the most. The Instagram is Comic Fanatic 2.0. If you want to follow your boy, you can follow me on Twitter at Witch of Yoan with an E. I've been reposting a lot of interesting stuff. You should go check it out. Wink wonk. If you want to follow me on Instagram and TikTok, you can follow me on Witch_of_Jotunheim. You know how to summon cryptid. You get the idea. I don't know why Jake keeps moving to different African nations. Get out of Djibouti, I swear. And Austin, he's a brick wall with a face. He's not that hard to find. And also, follow our lovely guest socials if you want to plug those real quick.
So follow me at King Krakoa on TikTok, Twitter, and Discord.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Now, with that audience, we'll bid you adieu. Bye.